The Cincinnati Reds heard no bell. Even though we've been talking like free agency is over, they weren't finished, folks. Welcome into Bad for Baseball. I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog, joined alongside by Adam Peddle. We're talking Cincinnati Reds today. Might be the first time that we've ever done this, but hey, they went out and they did something relevant, and I like it a lot for their team. Eugenio Suarez, 49 home runs, all 49 of them going over to Cincinnati on what is absolutely just a steal of a deal, in my opinion. $15 million, 1 year, mutual option after that. 15 mil for a guy who hit 49 home runs last year. Yeah, crazy stuff.
It's pretty good. We were just making a podcast here on Bad for Baseball about the winners and the losers of the offseason, and one of the big losers was the Cincinnati Reds. This was before the Suarez deal, of course, and my whole point there was, well, you didn't do anything to build off that momentum you had last year. Yeah, you squeaked into the playoffs, 83 wins, you're up against the Dodgers. Obviously, Dodgers are the Dodgers. They spank you. They spanked a lot of people in that postseason last year, but you didn't do anything to capitalize on that next step in your franchise. And I get it, you're Cincinnati Reds. You don't really, have the advantage when it comes to competing for all these big market players, but you had to do something. And this, for me, was that something. I like it. Bring Eugenio back to Cincinnati, where it all started. I like the deal. 49 home runs, like you said. I mean, you can't get better than that. And they needed just a little bit more thump, just taking that little bit extra step and kind of running it back with the same guys they had, plus Eugenio. I want to see what they could do. Maybe they squeak in again this season.
I think they definitely could, man. Again, we'll look at their division and everything after that, but there will be opportunities. I do think that $15 million a year for a guy that hit 49 home runs is crazy. Like, the market for Eugenio Suarez really fell off a cliff. Yeah. I get that he's 34 years old, and I get that the second half of the season wasn't so great, but I just figured that, 49 bombs and 118 RBIs would get you a little more than, like what Andres Jimenez gets played or various other players who don't hit for shit get paid. But apparently not. So, you know what? I guess the defense really brought him down. I guess the age, and I guess the second half, a part of the season there, even though he got traded, by the way, which is a whole other thing. But either way, love the deal. $15 million, very good for Cincinnati, I think, monetarily speaking. Let's take a look at what this means for their lineup as a whole. Last year, if we could just scroll up there so we can see the offensive numbers right there. Last year, they were 19th in batting average, 19th in OPS, 21st in homers. So adding a lot of pop in there is going to be big for this team, who are honestly mainly carried by the starting pitching staff.
Yeah, the pitching staff was actually phenomenal for this team, and that's the reason why they went to the wild card series in the first place. So looking at this offense, though, they do need to take a step up. And like you just mentioned, Eugenio Suarez is going to do all that. 49 homers, definitely going to increase that home run total. And you're adding to this, and they've been this for a while now, this like young sophomore, third-year veteran type of squad, spearheaded by Ellie De La Cruz going into his third season. Like, this is a team that you really need to start finding some foundation, and he's adding to that foundation. He joins Ellie De La Cruz. You have TJ Friedel at the top of that lineup. Sal Stewart is a young guy we're kind of looking at before this podcast started rolling. Obviously, a very short sample size, 55 at-bats, but this is one of their top prospects. What can you get from him? Can he develop into a guy? If they can get just a decent enough offense and just, string together above average stats, paired along with that great pitching staff, I think you're going to see a lot of good success with this team, or the Cincinnati Reds.
It is a good pitching staff, anchored down by Hunter Green, and then also Andrew Abbott, who, by the way, everybody, I was not aware how good of a season this guy had. 2.87 ERA over 166 innings. I feel bad for Cincinnati Reds fans out there. You guys just don't ever get the media coverage.
None.
And I guess it's, because I think about last year, your team, your narrative, it's like you were kind of good, but kind of not good. So, people rarely care about hearing about the mid teams. They want to hear about the best teams. Yeah. They want to hear about the horrendously worst teams. And you were neither of those. You were better than average, right? You made playoffs, so I guess nobody heard anything about you. But Andrew Abbott is an absolute stud for you at 26 years old. So you have your number one and you have your number two, and both of them are relatively young. Both of them have proven that they can do it over the course of a full season. I like their starting starting rotation quite a bit, because then even after that, you still have names in there that you've heard of before and that you think could be absolutely solid 3, 4, 5s in the rotation. Brady Singer has had some good seasons in the past, also had some down years too, but at the end of the day, if he wants to put up another 4.03 ERA out of the third spot in the rotation, you would happily take that. Nick Lodolo decided to have a really good year last year. That doesn't always happen for Nick Lodolo. So you're getting guys contributing across that pitching rotation right there. It really does just come down to me is the lineup and is some of the youth in that lineup going to be able to take the next step? Ellie's awesome, but we got to see him, really emerge as being that number one superstar. Eugenio, I don't think he's going to hit 49 necessarily again, but can you hit 39 or can you hit 35? If you do that, I think this contract is a win. And then it really boils down to, can Sal Stewart continue on what he did last year with the 55 at-bats? Can Marte over there up at the top, 24 years old from him, can he take a step up? You have a lot of youth in this lineup. You just need to see some of those guys kind of take that next step up, enter into a new tier.
And I'm even looking at Matt McClain, who before last season, everyone was looking at kind of what people were looking at with Sal Stewart. A small sample size was really good. He had some injuries, Matt McClain. Can he get back to where he was, because he's down there in the 8th spot? That's where you need to really elevate your game if you're the Cincinnati Reds. Like if you're not going to have mega superstars up and down lineup, Ellie becomes a superstar again. It was a great year last year. Oh my God, 4.3 WAR, but offensive numbers really surging into.
There's no 900 OPS here, right?
Exactly, right. If you can get that from him, that's great. But you're still going to need guys down there like JJ Bleday, Matt McClain, and Key Brian Hayes they traded for last year. Nice still defensive replacement down there. If they could step up and provide that WAR that you're missing from the team, elevate this roster, then I think you're right there to go back and try to compete for a wild card. In all of the NL, this is the quote unquote the weakest NL division. Maybe you can make an argument for the West, but there's still the guys there like the Padres, the Giants that are going to be thorns in your sides, and the Diamondbacks. But this right here, you have a chance to pick up some wins off the Cardinals and the Pirates. 13 games a year you're facing each of those teams. You can pick up some wins off of those guys. Can you squeak into a wild card again? I think you can if everyone just does what they did last year. Just, maybe take a few people taking a few steps forward. I think it's very doable. Yeah,
I think honestly, I look at their win total last season, 83 wins. I think they're going to do more than 83. Right?
Sure.
If they did 83 with the team they had last, this is always what happens in the offseason, right? It's that's got to be their benchmark, right? Because they did that never really happens.
Some people take a major nosedive.
Yeah, or major step up, right? This is the way of sports, right? It is extremely volatile, but if the team that they had last year was capable of 83 wins, I think the team this year, being another year older and adding in 49 home runs, is definitely capable of 83 wins. And believe it or not, that is literally the line right now for the Cincinnati Reds. And I would take the over. Yeah. I would take the over right there. I don't know if this is a squad that's going to win 90 games. I think I need to see a bit more from the offense to do that. And ultimately, what's I guess putting pause for me is you don't have any 900 OPS superstar right there. Even LA, who is, I guess you could say, a superstar, he did a high 700 OPS last year. He steals a ton of bases and has a ton of production, but his superpower isn't, I'm going to be able to hit anything at any given moment. That's not what his game is. He's got other aspects to it. So I do need to see that lineup take a step up, but if it does, I could see mid, maybe even high 80 win total.
Yeah, I would take the over as well, and I'm rooting for you, Reds. Again, I wanted you to do something. You finally did something. Even you didn't talk about the bullpen. The bullpen still is a good average bullpen. Can everyone just do their jobs and be back there competing for a wild card? We'll have to wait and see. But folks, let us know your thoughts about the Cincinnati Reds in the comments down below. Do you take the over on the 82.5? I certainly would, and Nick would as well. Please hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, and always, we'll catch you next time.
Cheers.